Helldivers, we have failed to take Cyberstan, but I'm here to tell you that things are about to get a whole lot worse for us because death is coming. So, let's dive in and break it down. As you all know, the fight for Cyberstan was a bloody one. We fought tooth and nail for every single city that we gained, and we were up against some of the hardest forces that we have ever seen from, difficulty 7 all the way to Super Helldive on 10. They were throwing Vox Machine after Vox Machine at us, and those hordes of cyborgs were no joke. And of course, as Shams was right, a lot of us Helldivers did die, but hey, it seemed that we could pull through, that we were going to come out on the top of this and take Transcendence until we got hit with a dispatch that was very alarming. It said, hey, Helldivers, you have a choice to make. Go save the 77th Siege Division on Solidarity, or go to Transcendence and march on the capital of Cyberstan and take it. And us Helldivers chose the honorable choice to go save our comrades in arms, and we were able to secure victory, but at a great cost. Many, many lives were lost, and it did end up draining almost all of our leftover reserves until there was only a few left, and it ended up not being enough to take Transcendence after the fact. Now, this was a defeat for us Helldivers, but also a Pyrrhic victory for the Automatons and the Cyborgs, because they lost a hell of a lot in this fight as well. They lost cities, they lost manpower, but also, friends, I think as Helldivers, we lost a hell of a lot more. Not only did millions of Helldivers die on these battlefields, but it is also kind of, crippled a little bit our fighting force that we have to go and now repel a counteroffensive that the Automatons are going to push forward. Because if you remember that this campaign did come with a warning from the Cyborgs, and that was, hey, if you continue on, you will be annihilated, and that is what they're aiming to do. As we've seen in the Coretta Kelly broadcast, the Automatons are planning a counteroffensive now. They will go ahead and push forward, reclaiming lost planets and lost cities, and pushing back the Helldivers in a campaign to actually make their way all the way towards Super Earth. So we could be looking at the invasion of Super Earth 2.0, like how the Squids did, and remember how dark those days were. I mean, we even lost our super president at the time. They're looking to do the same thing that we did on their cities to us, and it is about to get very, very bloody on these battles. And that's because I believe the full strength of the Automaton/Cyborgs can get replenished very quickly, because as we know, they are building those mega factories, and with that is going to be able to mass produce the Automatons again. So all those numbers of units and chaff that we've wiped off the battlefield, they're going to come back. And then even the Cyborgs themselves, they look like they had plenty of units to still throw at us. So we're going to see a lot more of the Vox engines venturing out away from Cyberstan itself, along with the other Cyborgs. We are now going to get them on all the different planets and biomes and everything like that. So every battle is going to be a struggle for us, and we know as regular humans, we cannot replenish our forces that quickly, so maybe there's going to be some penalties to us failing this campaign, like maybe, hey, we're going to have diminished reinforcements on the battlefield or something like that. We'll have to see what Arrowhead's going to cook up for us, but I can imagine them doing something like that because, hey, Joel likes to mess with us. But friends, in our weakened state, that is going to leave us very vulnerable to two other factions that we cannot forget about. And of course, the onslaught of the bugs is always continuous. We're always going to be in our battles for them. But our old arch enemy, the Imminent, are always plotting things. And as we talked about previously, we might be seeing some new forces hitting the battlefield sometime soon, and they might be brewing up something very, very hostile for us. And we could be potentially seeing an invasion force from 3 sides on Super Earth. So if we do not have enough reserves and enough Helldivers to push back the onslaught that's coming from the Cyborgs and the Automatons, how are we ever going to defend against these other factions? And we might be doing multi-faction battles, or, on this part of the map, we're fighting the Automatons, over there we're fighting the Terminids, and vice versa. I don't think they'll ever do the multi-faction battles, but a Helldiver can dream, because that would be a lot of fun. But regardless, things are going to get really bad for us. I'm kind of here for it because, I like when the stakes are raised really high and we have to come out on top because, hey, if we're able to push back this force and then just, push even further back into their territory, we can change the war's outlook again for us, so we can make it from bleak to, a little bit hopeful once more. But there's going to be a very big battle on our hands, so there is going to be a lot of work ahead for us Helldivers. But tell me what you think. Will we be able to push back this counteroffensive, or are things going to get a lot more worse for us? I would love to hear your thoughts. Well, friends, as always, that's what I have for you, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.